Thank you very much. And I want to congratulate Jackie and all her friends and colleagues here this evening. A very, very special evening for all artists and creative people. As you know, it's the 100th anniversary of Dada, which began in a basement not dissimilar from this in Zurich on the 5th of February 1916 at the height of the World War I, that barbaric war. And out of that came the Dada movement, which, as you all know, really out of that came modern art. The main Dada artist that came to Britain was called Kurt Schwitters. Very, very well known. And he came here, as you know, the Nazis in 1934-35 declared Dada and modern art degenerate, entartete Kunst. And they set up a campaign, a massive campaign, to imprison or push out many of the artists. That was the great modernist cultural diaspora. Many of the artists, poets, musicians and composers, they fled Germany, they fled Europe. Many came to England, but most went on to the United States. Kurt Schwitters was possibly the most famous of them. He came to Manchester in 1945, a refugee from the Nazis, went to live in the Lake District, up in Ambleside, where of course he's most famous for his Märzbaus, those extraordinary installations inside houses, people's homes, his own parents' home. And he built his fourth and last Märzbau about 80 miles from here, up in Cumbria, in the Lake District. And with Jackie and other people, we've managed to buy the Märzbarn and we're restoring it right now as a place for artists. People from Islington Mill and artists and poets and musicians from Manchester are welcome to come up. It's free. That Dada connection to Manchester and to the Northwest is really important, because I think our colleague who finished his wonderful presentation here about reinvigorating that spirit of Dada, that ability to think critically and to think openly in our own time. Dada didn't die, it lives in our hopes for the future. Okay, right. Kurt Schwitters in 1918 tried to join the Dada movement, and Richard Halsenbeck, one of the founders of Dada, decided he was too weird to be a member of Dada. So they threw him out, and he said, okay, I become Merz. My Dada is Merz. And he was a great member, he was a great supporter of the Dada movement. And one of his most famous Dada poem is Anna Blume, which he wrote in 1918. And even today, it's regarded as the great definitive Dada poem. I am not a poet, I am a mere artist, and with Jackie's help, we will read you Anna Blume, as it was translated by Schwitters when he was living in Manchester, when he was living in Ambleside in 1947. Ladies and gentlemen, Anna Blume. O thou beloved of my 27 senses, I love thine. Thou thee, thou thine, I thine. He was German. That, by the way, is beside the point. Thou art uncounted women, thou art thou. People say thou wert. Let them say they don't know that they are talking about. Thou wert thine hat on thy feet, and wanderest on thine hands, on thine hands, on thine wanderest. Hello thy red dress, on into white folds. Red I love eve blossom, red I love time. Thou, thee, thy, mine, you, we, I. That, by the way, belongs to the cold grow. Eve blossom, Eve red blossom. What do people say? Prize question. I love Eve blossom. Blue is the color of your yellow hair. Red is the whirl of your green wheels. Thou, simple maiden in everyday dress. Thou, small green animal. Thou, thine, thou, thine. By the way, belongs to the glowing brazier. Eve blossom, E-V-E-E, victory, easy, your name drops like soft tallow. Do you know it, Eve? Do you already know it? One can also read you from the back, and you, most glorious of all, you are from the back as from the front. E-V-E, easy, victory, tallow trickles to stroke over my back. Eve blossom, thou drippy animal, I love pine, I love you, Eve blossom, hey!
now then.